of the nation's premier salons, Perry Anthony Salon and Spa Network have developed their credibility with a library of publications in consumer, editorial, and trade publications. Their photography and print work are an innovative language, commanding a response from all who see it. This design group boasts national and international awards, which has positioned them as a major force in the beauty industry. The Salon and Day Spa is located on the north side of Route 7 in the Shops at Limestone Hills and is one of Pike Creek's hidden treasures. The atmosphere is second to none. Step into a contemporary and expansive decor, pulsating with an energy that redefines technology and artistry, while the design group fulfills your every need. Explore a unique selection of designer jewelry and accessories in the boutique. The retail center features a large selection of professional products and implements to support your inspired finished results. The staff of talented stylists and technicians are ambitious and motivated, developing a well-balanced prescription for your needs. Designated areas have been established to perform chemical services, skin and body treatments, nail enhancements, hair services, hair extensions, makeup applications, temporary or permanent, lash extensions, facials, and waxing. Each department completes the network of the full-service salon. The nail department holds their standards in the highest regards of quality and hygiene. They offer a soothing experience with individual paraffin infusions that not only offer superior results, but also ensure complete sanitation and safety for you. Their goals are to utilize the finest quality products in order to maintain a glamorous, flawless, elegant look. The SaniJet Pipeless Whirlpool Pedicure Spa System is certified by the NSF International as the only completely sanitizable whirlpool system. The validated hygienic benefits will avoid any cross-contamination and ensure a safe environment for your services. They are equipped with state-of-the-art and industry-leading products. The cosmetic department uses only the finest in paramedical-grade makeup. The Jane Iredale line is the original mineral makeup that acts as a concealer, foundation, sunscreen, and shine minimizer all in one. It is the exclusive line recommended by cosmetic surgeons nationally and has been recognized by the Skin Cancer Foundation as a preventative alternative for sun protection, containing an abundance of healing qualities. This line can also be applied directly following a facial treatment. The Day Spa encourages a healthy quality of life with nurturing treatments and detoxifying agents to promote and improve your overall wellness. Addressing the effects of aging, fine lines, age spots, enlarged pores, and more is as easy as a facial with the Revitalite system. This LED photopulsation will leave your skin radiant and smooth. A back facial is performed exclusively on the back and shoulder area to promote deep pore cleansing, execute extractions, extensive exfoliation, as well as a relaxing massage followed by a soothing mask. Experience another level of relaxation with the hot lava stone massage or bamboo massage. De-stress muscles and add inner peace to your life. Seaweed body wraps utilize fresh Life Alive seaweed from the coast of France to deeply cleanse, exfoliate, nourish, and draw toxins and impurities from the skin. This series is followed by a thermal body wrap to increase circulation, and it finishes with a computerized deluxe shower system to complete the relaxing experience. Hollywood rocks Delaware. Glamour has never been so attainable. Swim, shower, exercise, and revel in the weightless and natural-looking semi-permanent lashes that last for months with refills. Weddings, proms, anniversaries, vacations, or birthdays are all occasions for you to extend your beauty and have the ultimate accessory. All services offered by the Perry Anthony Salon and Spa Network include a complimentary consultation.
Hi, I'm Perry Anthony Scarfo, President of the Perry Anthony Salon and Spa Network. I'd like to welcome you to another edition of Beauty by Design, the most complete and comprehensive beauty show in the beauty industry. On today's program, what it will consist of is 3 total makeovers. Each makeover will be receiving 3 different services. The first service will be a color change. The second service will be a design line change. And then to finish each makeover, we'll take them to our cosmetic department where they'll apply a cosmetic application of makeup. So do me a favor, stick with us for the next 30 minutes. We're going to go to our first model and our first stylist and see where they are in the first process. And now we're here with our first model as promised, Paloma, and also our first stylist, Molly Malloy. Molly is one of our international award-winning stylists here at the Perry Anthony Salon and Spa Network, and she is also one of our very talented makeup artists. As you can see, Molly has already started her first process. As I had said earlier in the program, there would be 3 different services involved in these makeovers. Again, it's the color service, which Molly's in the middle of right now. Then it'll be a design line change, and then we'll finish them up in the cosmetic department with a makeup application. But what I'd like to do at this point is welcome Molly to the show. Welcome, Molly.
Thank you.
And I'm going to turn it over to her to let her talk a little bit about where she's at with this first color process on Paloma.
Okay, Paloma came to us a level 2 black, and she's always wanted to have a little bit of red put into her hair. So we started off with a clarifying treatment to reduce all the residue and build up in her hair. And then from there, we're using 2 different types of reds, one color underneath, which I've already done, and another on top to give her the desired color that she's looking for. How we achieve that is we use 2 different types of developers and volumes. And when we get to the end, we'll see how it turns out.
Sounds great. So basically, in a nutshell, what Molly's saying is you can see this plastic separating the 2 different zones. And basically, Molly, you're saying the top zone will be a little bit darker, but still be in the kind of, you said earlier, like a red cola type of family, at least that type of hue?
Yes.
And then that will get darker as we go down?
We're going to go darker to lighter. We're going to do
Oh,
a
you're gonna
more
go darker
vibrant red
to lighter.
underneath and a darker red up top.
Okay, very good. I'm going to let Molly take Paloma back and continue this service, and then we'll be back with them later in the program as she gets to the design line. But for now, let's move along to our second model and see where they are in the process. And moving right along now, we're here with our second makeover model, Sloan, and our second stylist on the program, Lauren. I'd like to welcome Lauren to the program. This is Lauren's debut. Lauren, welcome.
Thank you.
And what we'd like to do at this point, I went back while Lauren was in our color area, and I kind of stopped her because I saw she was almost completed this particular color process. I wanted to bring her up, and what I want Lauren to do, she's going to explain a little bit about what she did. As you can see in the before picture, when Sloan came into the salon, she was fairly blonde with a, I'd say a 75% highlight. And then Lauren had to fill her hair. But instead of me talking about what she's done to get to this particular stage of the chemical process, I'm going to turn it over to Lauren and let her talk to you about what she did from the time Sloan walked in to where you're at right now, and then what you'll be doing to finish the color process.
Okay, well, since Sloan was so blonde when she came in, what we did is we kind of filled her hair just to even out the porosity.
Very good.
We also put in some lowlights, some kind of chunky and some medium weaves.
All right, now when you say lowlights, that's what's in these foils right
Yes.
here, right? So these will be darker strands,
They'll
correct?
be a little darker and a little more vibrant than the
Okay.
base color.
So they'll be mixed up a little bit.
Exactly.
Some darker,
to
some
give
brighter.
dimension.
All right, and then what are we doing from this point on?
And now we're just applying the single color through the root and the ends, and that'll finish up our color process.
Very good. Do you want to demonstrate a little bit exactly how this is going to be applied? Because
Sure.
just for our viewing audience, are you going to apply this obviously between the foils?
Yes.
Okay, and will it also be applied to her ends?
Yes.
Okay, just demonstrate a little bit if you don't mind. Now, obviously, as you're doing this, you have to be very careful not to disrupt the foils, correct?
Exactly.
That way, you won't get any hot spots, as we call them. Hot spots are where the foil rides just a little bit, and you'll get almost like a circular bleed spot at the very scalp area. So this is pretty repetitious, what you're doing right here, correct?
Exactly.
All right, what I'm going to do is let Lauren move along and complete her color process, and we'll be back with Lauren when she starts the design line on Sloan. In the meantime, let's go to our third makeover model. We're here now with our third makeover model, Jordan, and our third stylist on the program, Julian. This is Julian's debut on our program, so I'd like to welcome Julian. Julian, welcome.
Thank you, Barry.
Basically what I'm going to do at this point, as you can see, Julian has completed, I think, about 3/4 of his color change or chemical process on Jordan. So what I'd like to do, I'm going to turn it over to Julian. He's going to explain a little bit about where he's at this point in the process and what he'll do continuing and what he'll do to finish up the process. Julian?
Oh, thanks, Barry. So the general concept is to move from what has become a little bit of a popular style of the ombre, which is a little bit grown out. You can see roughly some lighter pieces underneath. And what we're going to do to kind of give it a little more identity instead of a grown out look is lighten the very front hairline in a more traditional manner with a very basic highlight, but not square onto the scalp, something that's a little softer, but still traditional. And then in the sides, what you see here is horizontal foils that are still not square on the scalp and slowly dissipate as they move towards the back of the crown. That's just to give it a transition from front to back and still kind of keep with that theme of a more bohemian, less finite look. And what we have here as we get to the back here is we're starting these kind of angled foils that will kind of pop out underneath of the style, and then as we get up, we're not going to go all the way towards the top, keeping with that style of being, like I said before, more bohemian, slightly grown out, but not quite what the ombre look is, which is, you know, very grown out look. Back towards the more traditional look, but still giving it an identity.
Now let me ask you this, you had talked about in the back here, you will have some foils underneath, which will be almost kind of like a peekaboo type of effect underneath.
Exactly.
All right, why don't we do this if you don't mind? Do you mind demonstrating just maybe one foil of what you've done so far and
Not
where
at
you're
all.
headed?
All right.
Fantastic.
Now, these are slight slices, basically.
So you're not doing a real chunky weave here. I mean, again, you're going to keep it somewhat natural, you said, with these highlights, correct?
Exactly.
And not square off the scalp.
Not square on the scalp. You're going to start just a little away from the scalp. Bring it down.
I'm going to turn her a little bit if you don't mind,
Okay.
Julie, just so we can pick up some of
Move
this.
with you.
Now, once you finish this process, you'll continue the foils all the way around to connect to the other side, correct?
Yes, we won't go all the way
Okay.
to the crown because we want to keep with that idea of a slightly grown out look, but not, like I said before, not quite what the ombre look is. You want to have a little bit more of a traditional look.
All right, now let me ask you this. Once you finish the foils, which are pretty much complete now, or no, you will do a few more?
We have a
work your way
handful
up
more
the,
as we move up.
Towards the apex of the head? And then what will you do to finish the chemical process?
We will put color all over as a base color. We're going to put a base color that is basically bump up her natural color a little bit to a slightly lighter color, still keeping kind of a dark to medium brown. And then also we will put something on the ends to kind of cancel out that old color.
The old ombre effect.
The
on the
old
edges
ombre
there. So
effect,
you'll pull
yes.
everything together and make it a little more consistent.
Kind
right?
of meld it all together, give
All right.
it that real identity.
Now, the base color that you're going to be applying to Jordan, that will go also in between the foils, correct?
Yes.
All right, very good. What we're going to do at this point, so we can move back to our first makeover model, we're going to let Julian continue this, finish this process, and then we'll be back with Julian and Jordan when he gets to his design line.
Thank you, Perry.
Thank you. And as promised, we're back here with our second makeover model, Sloan, our second stylist, Lauren. And Lauren basically wanted at this point to show you exactly where she's at with her haircut. I mean, I think pretty much you're 75% finished the haircut?
Yes.
All right, why don't we do this? Why don't you talk to our viewing audience a little bit about how you've arrived at the point you're at and how you'll finish up this haircut, and if there's anything else you'll do after you blow her dry, any fine tuning, so on and so forth.
Okay, well, just to give it a really nice clean edge, went ahead and took an inch and a half off and went through and really cleaned up the layers and over-directed them so they were very soft.
Now, when you say an inch and a half off, inch
Off the bottom.
perimeter,
Yes.
and also the layers?
Yes.
Okay, very good.
And over-directed them to make them really soft. Right now, what's left of Sloane's haircut is to pretty much blend in her angle to the rest of the haircut.
Now, when you say the angle around the face,
Yes,
correct?
around the face and in the bangs. And then after I get her blown dry, I'll do a little more finishing, as in the texturizing, taking any unwanted bulk out.
And texturizing, you meaning, you know, just going back through the haircut
Yes.
itself, the design line, and slicing it and breaking it up a little bit. Is there any way you can demonstrate just a little bit of what you're going to do around the face
Sure.
on Sloan? And keep in mind, any client that we do in the salon, obviously we work with face shape, head shape, and also bone structure. And you know, Lauren again is keeping that all in mind. We don't get too technical on the TV program, obviously, because the program is not for hairstylists; it's for our viewing audience and the public. So basically, you're bringing all that forward, over-directing it.
Yes. And especially in the bangs, because she wears a side bang,
Right.
just going in and over-directing it so it lays very nicely.
And this will also create a great blend, correct?
Exactly.
I mean, everything that you've already done and just kind of connecting it all.
Exactly.
Very good. All right, we're going to do this. We're going to let Lauren take Sloan back, finish up the haircut, blow her dry, send her to the cosmetic area, and obviously with a makeup application, we'll complete this makeover look. In the meantime, we're going to move along to our third makeover. Welcome back. We're here now with our third and final makeover model, Jordan, and also Julian, our third stylist. And I'm going to basically at this point, I'm going to talk a little bit about what we talked about in the beginning of the program, and that was there's 3 principles involved in each makeover. And those principles are obviously the color change, second of all, the design change, the design line as far as the haircut. And Julian right now is partway through that. So what I'm going to let him do is I'm going to turn it over to Julian, let him talk to you a little bit about how far along he is with this design line change and what he'll be doing to finish this particular design line. And also at that point we'll take Jordan back, we'll complete this makeover with the cosmetic department. But Julian, at this point, why don't you talk a little bit about where you're at with the haircut and the design line and how you'll be finishing Jordan up.
Thanks, Barry. At this point in the haircut, we've worked on the length. We've taken it up a little bit, but still leaving very much a longer length to it, showing a little bit of a soft, long layer. At the same time, what we're going to do now is define the fringe. And also, you're going to notice after we do that, I'll show you the underneath of the haircut, because the goal here is to not only have an identity within the haircut, but also allow it to become its own shape now that she's grown out what was a very popular style for a long time, which is undercutting, shaving the underneath of either the side or the nape area. Now we're going to cut this fringe, and then I'll show you.
And when you say the fringe, you're basically talking
The
about
back.
the perimeter of the face.
Very
right?
much so.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, obviously, Julian, I see you use a lot of different implements when you're cutting, as far as, you know, the basic shears, the thinning shears, the notching shears, also the razor. At this point, as far as the perimeter goes around the face and the fringe, you're going to work with the razor?
Work with the razor, and that's mainly to give a nice soft transition to it. It's not like you would see sometimes when people use a razor and they're doing it to show a lot of texture. We're doing this more so to just give a soft movement to the fringe.
Yeah,
Bang
I was going to say the interior of this haircut itself is somewhat smooth, correct?
Very soft, very soft. And that's working with the initial theme that we talked about with the color, which is having a very almost bohemian kind of reserved look to it. Something that is not so hard to grow out. You're not getting your hair done every 6 weeks necessarily. And you can see what we're focusing on here in the fringe area is the outside of the cheekbone. It's to elongate the face and create a strong shape without going overboard with a dramatic effect.
That's a good point to bring up. I talked a little bit earlier, I touched on it a little bit earlier, the fact that all of our designers and stylists work with not only face shape and bone structure, but also head shape. But what Julian was talking about just now was absolutely working with, you know, her bone structure, her high cheekbones, so on and so forth. And then when we go into the cosmetic department, the makeup department, obviously they do the same things, and we always concentrate on, you know, trying to play up any particular model or client's assets, and also trying to limit the liabilities. Obviously with Jordan, she doesn't have really any liabilities, but at the same time, you play up everything you can. For instance, if you know, if we had a model come in that had just beautiful eyes and we were going to do a basic highlight, we'd definitely focus on a triangular section around the eyes and make the highlight just a little bit stronger there to, you know, bring out the eyes or make them pop a little bit. But I'm glad Julian brought up that point because it's critical in you know, haircut design and style design.
It's something that I like to focus on and allow to be a positive point of any haircut's identity, is accentuating the positive aspects of the face and head shape and texture as well, along with minimizing any negative. And now that we've moved from the fringe area, we are going to just cut into the frame of the shape slightly. One thing you'll notice is a lot of people with longer layer haircuts, they have a bit of a bulk in the front of the shape. It tends to get a little heavy in the front. Opening up that front frame allows you to, you can either tuck it under and it still has nice movement and shape, or blow it away from the face or curl it away from the face and open up the frame. Good for anyone who has rounder features or any kind of bulk in the neckline.
And also creates a lot of options, correct?
Very much so.
Okay, let's do this. I'm going to let Julian continue and finish up Jordan, and then we'll blow her dry. We'll finish the style, send her to the cosmetic department, and we'll see Jordan as a finished model. Welcome back. We're here now with our first finished model, Paloma, and the two people that contributed to her finished look. One thing I'd like to touch on real quick is we're going to reflect back to the before picture, and also the fact that Paloma is a professional model. We talked earlier in the program that the principles for each individual makeover would be 3 parts, and that would be, obviously the first was a color change, second was a design line change, and third was sending her to the cosmetic department so Flavia could complete the makeover with her cosmetic or makeup application. We didn't change a whole lot the design line with this, and Molly might touch on that a little bit more. And the reason for that is, again, Paloma is a professional model, and the fact that she needs versatility and options with her hair, doing certain photo shoots, so on and so forth. So again, we didn't change the design line that much, but Molly did trim her up and then changed it more by the color application and also the finish of Paloma's hair, rather than actually cutting and making a major change with the haircut design line. So anyway, Molly, I'm going to let you talk a little bit about basically how you finished her and what you did exactly with the color process. You talked earlier about darker and lighter, and then maybe spin around, show them how it just kind of integrates all together. And then Flavia, hopefully you can, well not hopefully, I know you will tie it all up with what you did cosmetically for Paloma.
Okay, basically when Paloma came in her before picture, she had a level 2, very curly hair. We spent a lot of time today, more so with her being a model, teaching her how to blow it out, and just trimmed up her end so that she could keep that long hair. We went through a couple processes where we did first the color on the bottom, which is lighter.
I'm going to spin her around,
Okay.
Molly, if you don't mind, just a little bit.
And that's her underneath color, which is 3 shades lighter than the top color. And then we finished it off with her top color, all shades of red, everything blends with her skin tones. And then we worked in with what we call we had to break her color. Being that she was a level 2, you can't get that naturally. So we did bleach wash, and then we retoned the entire thing, and that's what we came up with.
Looks fantastic.
And just so that, because there's such a huge color change, that always means that you end up having to adjust your makeup. So what we did with Paloma, because she is a professional, not just a professional model, but she also has a day job where she's working in a law firm, we wanted to keep her looking very, very professional and clean and just very, very simple, but this could certainly transition into an evening look. So what we did is just even toned her skin with some contouring techniques, along with the Jane Iredale line, which is what we carry here. It also is the original mineral line, and she doesn't have to worry about having any kind of oil buildups or anything where she'll have to be shiny or anything along that line.
Right.
So,
Speaking about the Jane Iredale, Flavia, I mean, just so our viewing audience knows, I mean, it's one of the few makeups in the world that is actually good for your skin, actually integrity-wise, as far as the integrity of the skin.
it's skincare it's skincare that acts as a makeup as well.
So
This
for
is one
those of you who've never experienced the Jane Iredale line, it's something that you should maybe stop in, have a consultation. It's something that is, like I said, it's actually healthy for your skin.
Well, that was basically how we finish it off.
All right, sorry to take some of your lines, but anyway,
It's okay.
let's do this. I want to thank Flavia, I want to thank Molly, and I also want to thank Paloma. Let's move along to our second model that is completed at this point. We're here with Sloan, our second completed makeover model, and also with Lauren, who completed Sloan's hair, and also with Flavia, who contributed to the finished look. What I'd like to do at this point is let Lauren talk a little bit how she completed Sloan's look, and then we'll turn it over to Flavia to let her talk a little bit about the makeup application. Lauren?
Okay, so to finish Sloan's hair, really what we did was kind of use volumizing products and a round brush to really give it some body and some fullness, and just keep it really nice and soft around her face.
Looks fantastic.
Thank you.
And Flo?
Well, Sloan, going from blonde to red is a huge transition. So
Absolutely.
within that confine of changing her hair color, it also changes everything around it because that's a different backdrop for her makeup. So what we decided to do is introduce a lot of peaches and bronzes into her hair, into her skincare, so that she looks a little more finished, a little warmer. Because if she would have tried any of this with her blonde hair, it probably would have looked out of place. But we actually tried a navy mascara. She's going to be able to explore a lot of different options now. So we kept her very, very natural. I mean, she's got gorgeous skin. There's really not much more to do with her. So just basically keeping it looking natural was
Very
our
good.
best bet.
You know, but before we go into our third makeover model, I'm just going to turn Sloan real quickly. I just want to really, hopefully you can kind of tune into, Lauren, you talked earlier about the fact you're going to do low lights and then some brighter highlights. And hopefully you can pick this up on film. But it's just a fantastic color. It looks unbelievable. You can see the low lights, the deeper colors. You can see the highlights and how everything just blends. Almost like a kaleidoscope that all kind of works together. Just beautiful, beautiful job.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lauren. Thank you, Flavia. Thank you, Sloan. And then we're going to move along to our final makeover model. Stick with us. And now to tie up the program with our last and final makeover model, Jordan, and also our final stylist, Julian. One thing I want to talk about is in the salon, one of our objectives is to always make sure our clients are current and also relevant. And the reason I'm bringing that point up is Julian's going to talk a little bit about how Jordan had at one time underneath a very, very short nape section, which was kind of what I guess a slang term would be a buzz cut. But anyway, it's very short in the nape area. But I'm going to turn it over to Julian first and let him talk about how he's kind of working that into what he did today. And then after Julian talks a little bit, we're going to turn it over to Flavia, and she's going to talk a little bit of how she turned over or actually completed this makeover with the makeup itself. Julian.
Thanks, Barry. So what we're doing, as we kind of mentioned with the color, is finding an identity for the hairstyle as it grows out. I find that a lot of people find that growing out stage to be a little frustrating, not knowing what to do with the hair, not knowing how to style it, almost resenting the shape itself. And what we did with the color, as we talked about, is adding an identity to a haircut that is growing out the ombre effect, which is a very popular style and is kind of slowly making its way out the door, though. And what we did is obviously we talked about brighten the front and add a soft transition to the overall look, brightening the effect. Now with the cut, in the same concept, we started to create a little bit of a almost asymmetrical bob shape here in the back, moving the style with the overall transition of the cut. You're not afraid of what you're growing out, you're embracing it. And what we did was just create a little bit of a smooth transition to the overall look with it. Something you can also do is kind of popular is bring the shape up into the top and almost create a ponytail and a knot effect, but showing off your shape underneath, not hiding it, which is what people tend to try and do. If it's on the side, you can also work with that. You just have to have a concept that works with that transition. Now, the overall style of the cut is a longer layer, utilizing the length that we had to play with on top, and like I said, not being afraid of the underneath nape area that had been buzzed.
Right. The whole point of this haircut was basically to make sure she could, again, grow this out underneath, and it wouldn't be in an awkward stage for her.
Exactly.
Correct?
Yes. And on top of that, like I said, we added the longer layer to it, adding a little more movement to the length, and at the same time, creating a little bit more of an identity in the fringe bang area, so to speak, by accentuating it, opening it up, and showing off those lovely cheekbones that Jordan has.
Right, Flav?
Okay, well, obviously she does have lovely cheekbones. And from, I know that you guys reflected back to the before picture. What ended up happening, what I saw, was that her coloring was much darker. So everything that Julian just referred to as far as creating some of that warmth and lightness around the front also translates into how she's going to manage her makeup. because Jordan is an aspiring photographer, she has another job, she's very busy, she usually takes about a half an hour to put her makeup on. We didn't really want to exaggerate that, so we kept it very natural. It's really maintaining a nice natural finish with a lot of natural tones, peaches, bronzes. Again, just maintaining her essence already.
Very
and
good.
enhancing it.
All right. I want to thank you, Julian. I want to thank you, Flavia. More than anything, I want to thank you, Jordan. And more importantly, I want to thank all of you for letting us share our craft with you and our passion of doing exactly what we do to try to make the world a little bit more beautiful, one client at a time.